I was actually craving fries. I don't know why. Look what I did. Yeah. So, I decided to go straight to the source when finding out about Project 2025, to the Heritage Foundation. My hair is a mess. I need to wash it. Let me get my computer up and going. Already started? I'll just cut them off. How about that? Thank you for being ignorant first thing. It flagged it. I'll just cut them off. This isn't for you. This is for me. We're going to talk about the Heritage Foundation. %90 of the time it does not work. Now all of a sudden, hot mustard, my favorite. So this is from the Heritage Foundation themselves. We'll go straight to the source because that's who made Project 2025. Actually, it is a historic movement brought together by over 100 respected organizations from across the movement to abolish the deep state and return the government to the people. Sounds amazing, right? Why are all these people freaking out? For no reason. No reason. It's an amazing project. I can't wait till it's implemented. It's a step in the right direction towards bringing back sanity to this country. Y'all, this McDonald's that I come to, there's this lady that lives on the curb. I'm not joking. She lives on the curb. Half the time I come, if I see her, half the time she's out there screaming and like, just not well, you know? I can't imagine though. I'm sure living on the damn street is not easy like that, you know? I'm out here and I go crazy on a weekly basis. So I get it. That's why. Those are not bad. I was actually craving them. That's so weird. I want one more with ketchup. I feel like my stomach's starting to hurt. Of course it is. I know better than to eat that damn oil. It's horrible. Well, I ate half of a medium fry. I'll probably eat some more of that Chinese food later. I just don't want to waste it, you know? It sucks. Because it tastes horrible. It's not good at all. I would give it like a 3 out of 10. That's how bad it is. Even the rice was like a weird texture, like mushy, like overdone. It's freaking heartbreaking. Like I said, half the time the cops just ride through here. She's out here screaming and acting crazy, and they just leave her there. There's no housing to put her in. There's no shelter. There's nowhere to put her. That's why we have all of these homeless people out here. The hospitals were closed. Mental institutions have been shut down. Sorry, private and state run. A lot of them. I think we only have like one left here in the state for like severe mental health, like, and I think it's like Butner, if that's even still open. That's in North Carolina. So it says Project 2025 is a historic movement, and it's brought together by over 100 organizations from across the conservative movement to abolish the deep state and return government to the people. It was stood up in 2022 before any major candidate announced a campaign to assist the next conservative president. But of course, Joe Biden was in office then, you know. So it says that Project 2025 does not speak for any candidate or campaign in any capacity. They state that we are an open book with our materials available online. Project 2025's policy book is nothing new. Mandate for Leadership has been published regularly since the 1980s. In it, respected conservative authors conservative policy ideas for incoming administrations to consider. So it's pretty much just a group of people planning the future, trying to ensure that family values are installed in upcoming generations. They're trying to make sure that God is in at least on the scene somewhere. What, listen, it ain't got to be in schools, it ain't got to be forced down your throat, but we need God somewhere, okay? I don't know where yet, but we need God somewhere. So that's the problem. That is front and center. And these people are trying to, their conservative values, they're getting together and trying to plan for the future in a conservative way. And that's why when I read that, I was like, wait a second, these people have been around that long? Like, and then it said that they had a plan readily available in 2022, but it was stood up. But also, there was really not anyone, it says, to give the conservative plan to. Progressive organizations do the same exact thing. As one example, the far left center of American Progress prepares policy recommendations for liberal presidents, including President Obama in 2008. We will not stop offering ideas because decline. Our aim is to restore America democracy of, by, and for the people, not of, by, and for the elites who are currently control of Washington. Spitting facts over here. Love this. So there's some lies that we can debunk that's on here. It says Project 2025, is it a plan from Trump? That is false. Will it terminate the Constitution? That is false. Will it give the government more power over your daily life? That is false. Will it gut democratic checks and balances on presidential power? That is false. Will it ban books and curriculum about slavery? That is false. Now, apparently, one can only assume, if this is from their page, that this is the lies of the left that they are answering to by answering these questions and laying these out before us on this page. Continue to pack the Supreme Court and lower courts with right-wing judges. That is false. In civil rights, that is false. In civil rights, that is false. But in DEI protections in government, that is true. They want to end DEI programs, promote and expedite capital punishment. True. They want the death penalty on the table for people who qualify for the death penalty. We have it for a reason. It would save us so many billions of dollars every year to use it. Maybe I'll come around. I know it's the unchristian thing to say that these people need to be damn Amtrak'd to the electric chair, but once again, the majority of these people that are on death row have already been punished several times before. They've already been warned previous times before. They keep getting locked up. Every time the crime is worse and worse. They do 10 years, they get out, they commit another fucking felony. They get out and, yeah. So it's yeah. That's why I believe that we should use the death penalty, because it's the same ones. Let's see. So coming to the military and veterans. cut military benefits for veterans and service members, including housing, TRICARE, retirement, and secondary education. That is false. So apparently the left is saying that Project 2025 is in support of cutting benefits for veterans, housing, TRICARE, and retirement, and that is false. Let's talk about marriage and family, what Project 2025 stands for. It said in no-fault divorce, that is false. In marriage equality, that is false. Complete ban on abortions without expectations, that is false. Ban contraceptives. So like birth control, the little T that goes in your V, that is false. They are not trying to ban contraceptives. It's just crazy. Ban IVF, false. Condemn single mothers while promoting only traditional families, false. Outlaw pornography, true. True. Good. Good. I agree with that. I agree with it. Kids have access to it. At the very least, they need to secure these websites that have it, and without a doubt, children cannot access it. So whatever they need to do, I don't know. I don't care. But I've watched porn ruin men. Ruin them. Ruin them. Their whole life was nothing but about pornography. Healthcare. Let's talk about healthcare. What Project 2025 states that they would like to do or not do. It says that they would end the Affordable Care Act. That is false. Raise prescription drug prices. That is false. Education. End free and discounted school lunch programs. That is false. So remember the other day we were talking about how Tim Walz in Minnesota, he passed a free lunch program. Any child that is indigent, they have the right to a meal. They are going to eat regardless. I don't know why this is not nationwide. No child should go hungry ever, especially at school. You know, when they're learning, they need a full belly to learn on. But apparently one of the lies of the left is that they were going to end these programs that, you know, certain states have, for discounted and free lunches, and that is false. Use public taxpayer money for private religious schools. That is false. Shut down the Department of Education. That is true. They want to dismantle it. They are done with it. They said it is no good. It's not progressive. It's not good. Our children are getting dumber. This is true. This is true. If you think that this is not true, it's true. We had the lowest reading and math scores in our nation's history. Currently, children are actually getting dumber. And it's coming from the educators that we have in positions of power. It's unfortunate, but you know, they want to dismantle the Department of Education. And I think that that's a great start. Great start. Economy and workers, cut Social Security, false. Eliminate unions and workers protections, false. Raise the retirement age, false. Cut Medicare, false. Mass deportation of illegal immigrants, true. They said that it will, the people that I've heard talk about this part, they said that it will be the largest mass deportation in American history. It says deregulate big business and the oil industry. It says mostly true. And it says increase Arctic drilling, true. So that's a little bit of what they plan to do. All right. This is from the Heritage Foundation. This is what they're saying, the reason that they made this project, and let's just talk about it. It says with the Biden administration half over, when was this? So this project has been out here since January 31st of 2023, and they're just now panicking over it. It says with It is past time to lay the groundwork for a White House more friendly to the right. For decades, as the left has continued its march through America's institutions, conservatives have been outgunned and outmatched when it comes to the art of government. One reason is because the Republican establishment never moved on from the 1980s. Beltway conservatives still prioritize supply side economics and bellicose foreign policy above all else. Belief in small government, strangely enough, has manifested itself in a belief among some conservatives that we should lead by example and not fill all political appointments. I agree. Belief in the primacy of the national security state has caused conservative administrators to defer political decisions to the generals and the intelligence community. The result has been decades of disappointment. Fortunately, this situation is changing. The conservative movement increasingly knows what time it is in America. More and more of our politicians are willing to use the government to achieve our vision because the, quote, keeping the government out of it will lose every time to the left's vast power. The calls for a new church committee represents a monumentous shift in energy, while conservatives use to liminal scent. Y'all, why can't they just fucking use words I know? Laminate, laminate. Liberal Senator Frank Church's original project as a kooky leftist attack against the brave men and women of our intelligence community. We're now on the ones for Congress. So this is the heritage.org. So you can see, you can read all this. I'm not going to read all this because I can't read it all and I don't know what it all means, but most of it is pretty self-explanatory. They're talking about, hold on 1 second. So it says the fourth, and oh, let me go up. So there's 4 pillars. This is going to be complicated to it. There's 4 pillars. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can proofread it and like kind of break it down. Yes, this is easier. Okay. So it says the Presidential Transition Project. The first pillar, the upcoming production of the policy book, Mandate for Leadership, represents the work of more than 350 leading conservatives and outlines a vision of conservative success at each federal agency during the next administration. So this is the plan that they want to present to a Republican president. Presidential candidates won't be able to ignore what the conservative movement demands in this book. The second pillar is our online personal database. This conservative LinkedIn will launch in March and provide an opportunity for a rock solid conservative. So what this is I remember hearing something about a database. They have a whole bunch of Republican people that have read this project, that want to be involved in this project, that want to turn America around. They want to dismantle the education system. Everything that we were just reading, we'll go to what their plans are, exactly what they want to do, other than what I've already listed. But pretty much it's a database of all these people that they can just pull into certain positions and set into the government. And I think it's a great idea. I mean, if all of these people are in agreement and all of them are decent people with the same project in mind and they have the same goal, that's important. That's exactly what our government should be doing, right or left. They should be working together to make shit better. I don't understand why this foundation has to do it for them, but apparently it sounds like they're the only damn people that have a little bit of damn sense going on right now. Like, why is this so difficult? So it's saying that they want to place themselves in contention for roles in the next administration. This pillar will bring Mr. and Mrs. Smith to Washington. So that would be Melania and Trump. The third is our Presidential Administration Academy. When conservatives do finally make it into an administration, they often don't know what to do or how to seize the gears of power effectively. Through their inaction, and their encyclopedic knowledge of volumes of Jesus freaking Christ technicalities about the federal workforce. Certain career federal employees are masterful in tripping us up. They will turn future conservative political appointees into experts in governmental effectiveness. See, this is what I'm saying. We need this everywhere, though. We need this whole project in everywhere. We need it in McDonald's. We need it in the Burger King. We need it in the grocery store. We need it in the damn furniture warehouse. We need it everywhere. It's almost as if when COVID happened, everybody just stopped receiving training. Nobody's trained in their position anymore. For God's sakes, I just went to the clerk of court and she gave me a panhandling license. Okay, Julie over here has been working there for how many years? And she don't know how to do her job at the clerk of court? That's a big oopsie. What if it was an arrest warrant? What if it was a FTA and Julie done messed my paperwork up and I'm going to jail because Julie's an idiot? We need this everywhere, okay? Everybody needs to be trained. And I'm not talking about like this right wing. I'm not talking about conservative. I mean, we need that everywhere too. I'm just talking about we need plans like this for every aspect of every business, from the government to small business owners. Like, nobody is trained in their position anymore. Nobody knows what's going on. It's infuriating, especially when you're spending money somewhere and you're expecting somebody to know how to do their job adequately and they don't. And then they try to blame you like you're the problem, and you're not. You hired them and they don't know how to do their job. So it says the fourth and final pillar of Project 2025 is our playbook, which we will take the policy ideas expressed in the Mandate for Leadership. You can find that online and you can read through it, the Mandate for Leadership, and transform them into an implementation plan for each agency to advocate incoming administration. So pretty much one person going to train another person and they going to implement this plan for each agency to advocate into the next coming administration. This is going to be a thing going forward. This is a plan to make sure that we always have good Republicans in office, making sure that our concerns and needs are being met. I hope it works. I think it would be a great idea. I don't know why this hasn't even been a thing, right or left. Why do y'all not have a database of readily available people that actually know how to do their job, that are actually intellectually inclined, maybe people that actually have a higher IQ than other people, 140, 160, somewhere in there. Those are the people that we need running this country. Not Joe Biden over here with his dementia and family drug problems and alleged pedophilia. What are we doing? You know how many great people there are in the world? And we got all these horrible people in places of positions, like, of power. So it says, in November of 2016, American conservatives stood on the verge of greatness. The election of Donald Trump to the presidency was a triumph that offered the best chance to reverse the left's insistent march of progress for its own sake. Many of the best accomplishments, though, happened only in the last year of the Trump administration, after political appointees had finally figured out the policies and process of different agencies, and after the right personnel were finally in place. So they're saying that when he was in office, he just didn't have enough time. And I can see that. And that's what I'm worried about, him getting in office. He's going to win the election. And when he gets into office, it's probably going to take a few years to reverse all of the madness that the left policies and laws and crazy stuff that they have put into place. It's probably going to take a while before things get better. It might get extremely worse. And you know that if it does, they're going to blame him. Because they're already too stupid to see the lies of the left. They're going to be too stupid to see that it's their people that they voted for that put them in this situation. The usual suspects in the political class will be ready for the next conservative administration. We will be ready for them. That's where Project 2025 comes in. We have 2 years and one chance to get this right. Now, it sounds like this was written before now, but it must have been revised in, like, the date. January 31st of last year. Oh, Brooke, Jesus freaking Christ. Listen, sometimes because I'm partially dyslexic, I get January and June mixed up. So when I see it, I don't see that A. And Oh, God. So let's talk about what Project 2025, let's go to policy. Policy agenda. Now, here is the Mandate for Leadership book. If you would like to look at it, read some of it. It's all online. There's the book. This book has been around. They do a revised reversion or whatever every single year from what we're reading. And it just sounds like they're blowing this out of proportion. I mean, of course they don't want, half of what we read in the beginning. They don't want half of that. So I understand why. Ooh, this is a difficult one. All right. So what the book is, I'm going to read you what the book is about. The book is the product of more than 400 scholars and policy experts. Have I already read this? I have. So the book is a combination of scholars and experts from across the conservative movement. They wrote this book, and they're giving their expert opinions on what we should and should not do as conservatives. Let's read the mandate. Let's go to table of contents first. So there's Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, Department of State, Intelligence Community, and media agencies. There's Agency for International Development, Department of Agriculture, Department of Education, Department of Energy and Related Commission, Environmental Protection Agency, Department of Health and Human Services. As you can see, there is a category for everything. So, Department of the Interior, Department of Justice, Department of Labor and Related Agencies, Department of Transportation, Department of Veteran Affairs. There's a lot that they want to fix. Department of Commerce, Department of Treasury, Export-Import Bank, Federal Reserve, Small Business Administration, Trade, Financial Regulatory Agencies. I hope I'm saying that right. So there's a lot to this project, okay? And I'm sure that it's a lot to read, but I want to maybe see what they want to do to the Department of Education. Now, some lady named Lindsay M. Burke wrote this. It starts with the mission. It says federal education policy should be limited, and ultimately the federal Department of Education should be eliminated. When power is exercised, it should empower students and families, not government. Shots! Whoa! Hold on, it took a minute to click. It didn't click at first. It didn't click at first. If you know, you know. Yes, so what they're saying is that all of these weird fucking teachers we have out here should not be indoctrinating your children. They should not be. And that's what it says. That's what I read. Oh, wow. In our society, families and students should be free to choose from a diverse set of school options and learning environments that best fit their needs. Our post-secondary institutions should also reflect such diversity with, oh, but I thought they were racist. But I thought they were racist. I'm going to shut up. Reflect such diversity with room for not only traditional liberal art colleges and research universities, but also faith-based institutes, career schools, military academies, and lifelong learning programs. Yeah, because we all know Christians are the most hated people right now, white Christians. If you didn't know, let me tell you. So they're trying to ensure that everybody gets a piece of the freaking pie. If you want to go to a liberal arts college, you can. If you want to, and it says with room for not only traditional, it lists out several different groups of people. So this is for everybody. They're trying to do this for everybody. Elementary and secondary education policy should follow the path outlined by Milton Friedman in 1955. Education is publicly funded, but education decisions were made by families. Ultimately, every parent should have the option to direct his or her child's share of education funding through an education savings account, an ESA, funded overwhelmingly by state and local taxpayers, which would empower parents to choose a set of education options that meet their child's unique needs. Wow, This is so different. I don't know if the taxpayers should pay for your kids to go to school, but I'm thinking that they're talking about elementary through high. I'm assuming they're not talking about college, but they could be. It says states are eager to lead K through 12 education for decades. They have acted independently on the federal government to pioneer a variety of constructive reforms and school choice programs. For example, in 2011, Arizona first piloted ESAs, which provided families roughly 90% of what the state would have spent on that child in public school to be used instead on education options such as private school tuition, online courses, and tutoring. In 2022, Arizona expanded the program to be available to all families. Wow, I wonder how that's working. We'll have to look that up one day. That's pretty cool. The future of education, freedom, and reform in the states is bright and will shine brighter when regulations and red tape from Washington are eliminated. Federal money is inevitably accompanied by rules and regulations that keep the influx of funds from having much, if any, impact on student outcomes. It raises the. Sorry, I thought that was the police. This is really tiny, y'all. I got great vision. I got 10/10 vision. I don't know why I can't see it. It raises the cost of education without raising the student's achievement. To the extent that federal taxpayer dollars are used to fund education programs, those funds should be block granted to states without strings, eliminating the need for many federal and state bureaucrats. I hope I'm saying that right. Eventually, policymaking and funding should take place at the state and local level closest to the affected family. So it's saying that is education. Listen. Oh yeah, it's a government. Okay, duh, Baruch. Of course, it's a government freaking agency. Yeah, the Department of Education is a federal agency, so they're wanting to take it to the state level. They're wanting the state to handle the education per state. I don't know the repercussions for doing that, so I don't know if I support this or not, but it says although student loans and grants should ultimately be restored to the private sector, or at the very least the federal government should revisit its role as a grantor. That's when you like borrow money, right? Rather than a direct lender. Federal post-secondary education investments should bolster economic growth, and institutions should nourish academic freedom and embrace intellectual diversity. I agree. And that's what we see happening at these colleges. It's all the same students, the same story, different day. They're all brainwashed, you know what I mean? And imagine being a good old southern little belle like myself from the South and trying to go to a huge university like Florida State at Jacksonville, and then getting there and being a little country bumpkin and realizing that everybody on campus has lost their minds. They're out here literally just having orgies everywhere. I said, oh Lord, I'm in the wrong place. Deliver me from this shit, please. And then you're the bad guy when you tell all your friends to stop sleeping around that they're all alcoholics because they're giving their body away to too many people. You're the bad guy. It's really hard to fit in. And I'm a woman. I'm a grown-ass woman. Imagine being an 18-year-old child going in that environment and being from a small town and having, conservative beliefs. You would be outcasted. You would have to drop out of college. That's how bad it is. You would have to drop out of college. You would not make it. And it's messed up. And this project is wanting to bring normalcy back to our education systems. I mean, it's kind of sad that they had to take it this far, but I'm glad that we have a plan. If I read all of those different departments that this is pertaining to, even if they just change one or two, this whole thing was worth it. Just one or two. So it says, it says it should reflect a fuller picture of learning after high school, placing apprenticeship programs of all types and careers and technical education on an even playing field with degrees from colleges and universities, rather than continuing to buttress a higher education establishment captured by woke. I'm not going to say that word because that's like kind of like a slur. By woke ideology. Okay, it's not a slur. I listen, that D word right there. Diverse. Oh, I get it now. Diversocrats. It's still probably. I'm sure if you said that to like a leftist, they would get, you know. So yeah, it is kind of a slur to me. I think. I mean, But so is like cis woman. That's a slur too. I hear you say that shit. I'm gonna say something, you dumbass. It says, rather than continuing a higher education establishment captured by woke ideology and a monopoly enforced by the federal cartel, federal post-secondary education policy should prepare students for jobs in the dynamic economy, nurture institutional diversity, and expose schools to the greater market force. I agree. So it gives a brief overview of the history of education. Well, a long overview of the history of education. Let's talk about the mandate for leadership, the conservative promise. So it says, advancing education freedom, empowering families to choose among a diverse set of education options is key to reform and improve outcomes. And, excuse me. And it can be achieved without establishing a new federal program. For example, portability of existing federal education spending to fund families directly, or allowing federal tax credits to encourage voluntary contributions to K through 9 education savings accounts managed by charitable nonprofits could significantly advance education choice. So it says providing education choice for federal children. Now these are like talking points, okay? Providing education for choice for federal children. Congress has a special responsibility to children who are connected to military families. I have like 5 or something niece and nephews that are military children, so let's see how this could help them. It says they have a responsibility to military families who live in the District of Columbia or who are members of sovereign tribes. Responsibility for serving these students should be housed in agencies that are already serving these families. Restoring state and local control over education funding. As Washington begins to downsize its intervention in education, existing funding should be sent to state as grants. Sorry, I'm looking at the time. Sorry. Over which they have full control, enabling states to put federal funding towards any lawful education purpose under the state law. Let's talk about taxpayers, because it says right here, what the world? Treating taxpayers like investors in federal student aid. Taxpayers should expect their investments in higher education to generate economic productivity. When the federal government lends money to individuals for a post-secondary education, taxpayers should expect those borrowers to repay. So it's saying, all of you fuckers out here that wanted your student loans, yeah, no. Pay for your student loan like everybody else did. That's what it's saying. Y'all, there's so much here. Pretty much anything that you're going to hear in the media about Project 2025 is going to be a lie. If you're interested in it, I've done told you how to find that information. Don't come to my page talking shit to me when we've already been over it and you know how I feel about it. I can't help that you don't show enough interest that you actually go read it yourself. We'll definitely talk tomorrow about some of the other talking points. I want to see what they have to say on the Department of Justice. I want to see what they have when it comes to the Treasury. I want to see what they have to say about abortion. From what I hear, they're strictly against it. And that's something that I'm battling with right now, how I feel about it. So I get the talking point that some women should have access to it because it's medically necessary. And in those medical necessary situations, I agree. What I have a problem with is women that have had 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 freaking abortions. And there's absolutely women out there that have, and they keep having them. It's the same ones over and over and over. I would love some statistics from the Planned Parenthood on how many of these girls have been there in the past year. We'll never have that, HIPAA law and all. But, it's just the same ones in and out of those clinic doors. And that's what I feel horrible about. And I don't know if I would ever vote for someone again that was going to allow that to happen, that would not make an honest fight to prevent it from happening in some setting, to at the very least, make it just medically accessible for women that medically need it. So, I don't know. I feel kind of funny about it. But I love you guys. I'm going to get my butt to bed. I'm actually going to go by the gym, use the bathroom. Yeah. Tomorrow's Saturday. I think we should go to my storage unit and clean everything out. Pull everything out, clean it all out, sell what I can. I can post it all online tomorrow. And, yeah, because I'm going to need somewhere for all of this stuff to go. So I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm just going to try to stay positive, and I have everything I need right now, so I'm okay. You know what I mean? And I love you guys. Pray for me because God knows I need it, and we'll talk tomorrow. We're definitely going to talk more about that, and I'll probably have my shit together a little more. But I love you guys, and have a good night. Bye, y'all.